Hi everyone, it's Sophie. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is doing well. I am just so excited to see so many new faces in this community, and I thought this was a perfect time to do a Q&A video. So I asked you guys on my Instagram and also my community tab if you guys had any questions for me, and I received so many good, interesting questions from you. I have grouped the questions into different categories, so if you want to skip to the section that you're interested in, then I will leave the timestamps in the description box below. Also, if you haven't seen my first Q&A video, I will leave that in the description box as well. But without further ado, let's just jump right into the questions. First part, I will be answering some questions that you guys had about me, and I have my laptop in front of me. The first question I get a lot is about my age, my ethnicity, and also my star sign. So I'm 30 years old, I am Korean American, and I'm a Scorpio. Where did you grow up? Why did you live in so many different countries like Germany? Where are you from? Your journey to where you are now. I was born in Korea. My dad speaks German, so he found the opportunity to move to Germany through his bank, and I moved to Germany when I was 6. When I was about 11 years old, my sister and we went to Alaska to live with my aunt and uncle while my parents had to go back to Korea. As an adult, I wanted to escape the cold. I moved to San Diego to go to university, and then from there, I moved to Hawaii, and that was about 6 years ago. Why Maui? Do you have family there? Yes, I do have family here. My husband is originally from Maui, and also his whole entire family is on Maui, and I'm so grateful for that because I am very close to his family. Do you speak another language? I speak Korean with my parents every single day. This is my mother tongue, and this is how I communicate with them. So it's very important to me that I keep it up. In high school, I had to take a foreign language, and I just randomly chose French, but it had such a big impact on me. I love the language, the culture. So I studied it all throughout high school, college, and so I speak French as well. Did you go to university? What is your major? As I mentioned, I went to university in San Diego, and I majored in philosophy. I actually started out in journalism and public relations, but I think I had to take one philosophy class. It was Intro to Philosophy, and ever since then, I knew that that was the path that I wanted to go down. And of course, it is not the most practical degree, but I don't regret it. What is your favorite book ever? Inspiring books? This one is so difficult to answer because I have so many, and I feel like different books had a different impact on me depending on what I was going through in life. But if I had to choose some of my favorites, you guys probably already know this, but The Prophet by Khalil Gibran, I think I'm saying that correctly. Also Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse, and The Stranger by Albert Camus. Do you work? What do you do for a living? What are some of your multiple streams of income? I decided to make a whole video explaining this because this is one of the most asked questions that I get. But in short, yes, I do work. I work part-time for a nonprofit. Also, YouTube has been my work. And some of you guys know we have rental properties. I manage those properties, and I will definitely go into more detail in my next video. Do you want to have kids? I personally don't mind sharing this answer, but I just don't have a definitive answer. So I'm just gonna say not right now. How do you maintain skin and hair? Do you use tanning oil? I struggled with my skin for the longest time growing up, and I have a lot of texture and acne scars because of that time of my life. With that said, my skin has never looked better. It really healed when I switched all of my skincare products to natural and very simple ingredients. In terms of my hair, I can also make a video on it, and I know I've been saying that, but I just am afraid that it's going to be a very short and simple video. So let me know in the comments if you would like to see it. I would love to do a video on it. If you were given a chance to live in another country, what country would it be and why? I want to live in so many different countries. Some countries that come to my mind are Portugal, Spain, Thailand, Japan, but I have a list somewhere in my journal of all the different countries that I want to live in. When did your slow living journey begin? What impacts you to live a slower life? I think slow living is something that feels so natural to me. When I first learned about slow living and read more into it, I just knew that it was a lifestyle that I wanted to pursue. Also, moving to Maui really made me realize a lot. I saw the different pace of life here and different values that people had that made me really realize that I was rushing through life and kind of missing the point, the beauty of life. And this made me want to turn to slow living even more. How to find calmness when things are hectic. I think this is why it's so important to have good habits in place, because when life gets hectic, then we have the right tools to deal with it. And as you guys know, I am a huge proponent of meditating and journaling, going out for a walk, just knowing how to reflect and spend time alone. And I think these tools really helped me through some of the tough times of my life. How to live a slow, intentional life in a big city, because it seems easier on Maui. I am really shaped by my environment, so I agree with you that it's probably easier on Maui than, let's say, New York City. But I really do believe that we should not adapt our lives to this model concept of slow living. The concept of slow living has to adapt to our individual lifestyles. So you have to find your own version of it and practice what you can and leave the rest. What do you think about fear of death? How to stop being scared? One of my biggest fears is saying goodbye to my loved ones. I think it's a terrifying feeling to leave everything that you love and that you know into the unknown. But I've read a really great quote somewhere from Seneca, and the quote said, "But learning how to live takes a whole life." And which may surprise you more, it takes a whole life to learn how to die. Thinking about death can actually be an eye-opener to how we want to live. And it just makes me appreciate living life more than ever before. Any podcast books about minimalism? I actually just read an interesting book. The title of the book is called The Longing for Less. It's actually not a how-to book, but more about art, culture, and interior design aspect of minimalism and how that shifted our whole culture. It's a very interesting read. I recommend it. And other books on minimalism that I recommend is on my website, which I will leave in the description box below. Is your hubby a minimalist too? He is the real minimalist in this household. I always loved that he knew how to prioritize. He never tries to impress anyone, and he dresses very simply. What I'm really thankful for is that he never judged me when I was not a minimalist and I was spending my money on clothes and little knickknacks here and there. But now he's just so supportive through my journey, even through my crazy decluttering phases. He has been very supportive, so I'm very thankful. At what point do you think trying to sell your unwanted items is better than donating? I think if your items are in decent conditions, definitely tried to find a second home for it. Working for a nonprofit, we get so many donations, and a lot of it actually ends up in landfills, or it gets sent overseas to a developing country where they don't even want it. So if we can find someone in our local community who could also make use of our unwanted items, then that would be the ideal situation. Any advice on someone who is constantly changing wardrobes because of comparing to others? This was one of my biggest weaknesses. As soon as I saw something cute on someone else, on an ad or on social media, I had to have that item for myself. I think this was because I really didn't know my personal style, what looked good on me, and I didn't have classic pieces that I could wear all year round. So that's exactly what I focused on, just getting to know my body, the cuts and the styles, materials that I really enjoy wearing. I have now fewer pieces, but I really enjoy my closet. I also had some questions about my YouTube. What inspired you to create a YouTube channel? So I always watched YouTube. I thought that it would be so cool to document my life in a way and share my journey, whatever I was going through. It happened really fast. One day I just picked up my G7X and I started making a little video about our home renovation. So we recently did this remodel and I just posted it. It was super awkward, it was super cringy, but I am so glad that I did. And from then it just became a little personal challenge to improve on one thing every video and do it again, just one foot after another. And here we are today. I started to really get into slow living and minimalism lifestyles during that time, and I knew that if I was going to continue posting on YouTube, I really wanted to share something meaningful. How do you handle negative comments on social media? I try to see if it's really constructive criticism or just a hate comment. For example, sometimes it's really helpful when you guys tell me that my lighting is not good, but I also know not to listen to people who judge me on my physical look or my personal character. That is completely irrelevant, something I cannot change. Not everyone is gonna like me, so I've accepted that. Have you felt insecurities exposing yourself to YouTube? Yes, all the time. I still feel really awkward in front of the camera, but I noticed that it's such a tiny little thing in this whole journey on YouTube. How do you edit your photos and videos? What filter do you use on your photos? So I edit all of my photos using Lightroom. For my video editing, I use DaVinci Resolve. I watched hours of YouTube just trying to learn how to work a camera, what to do, color grade. Any advice for someone wanting to grow or following on IG and YouTube? My advice on this is very generic. I want to say just concentrate all of your energy and your time on the content, on how to deliver your message, what message you're delivering, and just the quality of the video or the photo. I think people will come naturally if they resonate with your message. I just want to say thank you guys so much for all your love and support. Thank you for allowing me to create and share my journey with you. It just means the world to me. I can't say thank you enough. And I apologize if I didn't get a chance to get to your question, but I will be in the comment section below chit-chatting with you. So please feel free to ask any questions there. Until next video, guys, take care, and I will talk to you very soon.